happening live. So I want to start having that conversation at least 16 months before the November election. We're technically a little less than a year.
This is what happens when you don't have a camera operator yet.
Yeah, it's all good. we're technically a little less than a year before the Georgia primaries, which is going to determine who are the Democratic nominee and the Republican nominee.
Okay.
And it's best to have these conversations sooner than later, just so that we can get all our questions out and, see what's really going on. You know what I'm saying?
So I have to ask, on behalf of those who may want to ask but don't want to.
For sure.
Does voting matter?
Does voting matter? I mean...
Or do you think, does Adobe think voting matters?
I mean, do I think the public water system matters? Do I think public schools matter? Do I think the infrastructure that I drive on matters?
Mm-hmm.
The short answer is yes. The long answer is don't be stupid.
Okay.
The answer is yes.
All right.
And that just goes back to like basic civics lessons.
Okay.
Americans aren't typically Americans are passionate about ideas. So if you ask like a general, like 100 Americans, about 95% of them will be like, oh yeah, I have views on this, this, and that, right?
Yeah.
But if you were to ask them how these things can happen, name the 3 branches of government.
Right.
Name your local senator.
Yeah.
Not your U.S. senator.
Right, the local one.
Your Georgia senator, because the capital of Georgia is Atlanta.
Yeah.
There's a Capitol building in downtown Atlanta.
Exactly.
Like, covered in gold. That's where everything be happening.
Yes.
With our Republican governor and our Republican Senate, right?
Right.
These are all things that are happening live, whether, like I'm talking about, putting your head in the sand or not. It's going to happen. So that's my long-winded answer, but the answer is yes. And I can't go back and forth with that no more, so don't ask me that again.
No, facts. I mean, and it's crazy because, and I say this a lot, like, I actually don't like politics at all. I hate how divisive it is, but I engage out of necessity because I understand it's literally the fabric of our country.
I think the divisiveness of it really just stems back to our lack of accountability, like
True.
As a people.
I can see that.
Because, the divisiveness of it is ironic when both of these major parties do not have our general interest in hand.
Yeah, no, like,
so
seriously.
there's actually nothing divisive about it.
No,
it should
seriously.
actually just bring all creeds of life together.
Yeah.
How ironic, right?
Yeah.
That people are like, oh, don't talk about politics at the family. Why not?
Why not?
This is actually...
It's actually affecting our everyday lives.
This is family planning, actually.
No, it makes perfect sense.
What's going on?
Yeah, and that's the reason. That's why I was going with that, because like I'm definitely not one of those people like, oh, I choose not to engage. And like I use the analogy of the Matrix, right? Because I was talking to a friend about that, and she was like, yeah. So she basically said voting doesn't matter. She's like, yeah, I don't care about all that. It doesn't work. And I was like, it doesn't work. Then why do you think people are lining up to the polls to do it?
People have risked their lives, mind you.
Yeah.
In the past, people have risked their lives to be able to vote.
Exactly. And like people act like, here's the first thing. People act like voting is the end.
Right. No.
So just because you voted in 2020 and things didn't change, like that doesn't mean that voting doesn't matter.
That just
because you voted in 2016 and you didn't get your way, that doesn't mean that voting doesn't matter.
Hell, some people have been voting in 2012.
You know
what I'm saying? I voted in 2012.
It's an ongoing thing. You literally vote on things, I would argue, every other month because you have localities. Hell, you have HOA. You got state, local, and then you have people always talking about the federal. There's so many other steps before you even get to there. Right? So, I mean, there's a reason why cannabis is such a hot topic, because like some states are green, some states are not green. Well, guess what? State governments. And it was you who told me, like, the governments are the true kings and queens out here. Like,
amen. And that's from the Constitution.
No, like, seriously.
If it's not written in the Constitution, the state dictates what goes on. Okay, who runs the state? The governor and the state capital.
Yeah, that's it.
Who votes for those people? The people who literally live right next to them.
Yeah.
The people who are representing you at the Atlanta Capitol are our real life neighbors.
Yeah.
Their kids go to school with us. We go to the same parks.
Yeah.
And then we use the same trash service.
Exactly.
So if you got an issue with the situation that's going on,
you
really need to talk to them.
Talk to your neighbors
before you start yelling at people in DC.
Right.
They're all the way in DC.
They're working on other stuff. They're busy.
It's relevant. But if you have an issue with what you're looking at, you need to talk to your local representative.
Go up the street
immediately.
You don't have to catch a flight. Nope. Go up the street.
Just go up the street to them.
Yeah.
You know where they're at.
Yeah. So that was the first thing, right? Yeah. The second thing was this whole I choose not to engage thing also doesn't make sense because, like, people can walk around here and think that they're woke and be like, yeah, I don't, participate. I do my own thing. It's like, no, you don't.
You don't.
Because you pay taxes. Mm-hmm. The car you're driving right now, you're paying taxes on that, right? Mm-hmm. If you own a home, you're paying taxes. Mm-hmm. If you go to the grocery store, you're paying taxes. If you have a job with W-2 income, you're paying taxes.
And if you wake up one day and you say, I'm not taxes,
doing that.
The state's going to come to your house.
Good luck.
They're going to come to your house.
Luck, yo.
And let you know you owe them some money.
Good luck. And so it's just funny to me when people are just like, yeah, I'm not doing all that. Like, all the sheeple business. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, I had someone literally troll me on Instagram. It was something about, I forgot what the post was, but he commented, it was like, why is everything about money? And I responded and said, because everything costs money. Like, what are you talking about? And then he was like calling me sheeples, like, if that's what you think, ha ha. I'm like, dude, the Wi-Fi, you're paying for the Wi-Fi or the cell service to comment on troll me right now. What are you talking about?
It doesn't make no sense.
Do you have kids? Okay, maybe you don't have kids. Do you eat?
I mean.
So I'm just sitting here like, what are we talking about here? I'm not saying everything costs money as if I'm just some crab in a barrel. I'm just trying to get it. I'm not Mr. Krabs off of SpongeBob, like trying to get money out of everybody. Right. But I understand the reality. Yeah, everything does cost money. Mm-hmm. So absolutely, I'm trying to make everything about my life about money. Not in a shallow way, but understanding that I always will have a means to an end. Mm-hmm. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Shout out to our boy Damon Crump. He was just like, yeah, like money is a small part of wealth. We want to talk about wealth building. And we want to talk about getting to a place where we're financially free. Money is just a small portion. So like it's about having means to do what you want to do, what you choose to do with your family, with yourself, with your loved ones, all those things. Like that's what I'm thinking of. But they're going to call me sheeple. Okay.
Yeah, all right. I just say good luck to them folks because
good luck.
The space that we're in right now, we don't actually have a lot of time. We're actually out of time.
Yeah.
People wanted us to wait an additional 4 years after 2020. 4 years and some, mind you. They said 4 years, but they're like, but nothing gets done in the first term.
Yeah, no, nothing. Yeah.
So they wanted us to wait 4+ years for something to happen. But then at the same time, they're telling us that climate change got us out of here in 6 years less. And
that was like 10 years ago.
The whole system is kind of crashing down around us. It's like, well, we don't actually have time to wait.
Yeah, we don't.
The time to educate ourselves about how this system works is now. The time to now turn around and share that same information that we've learned with somebody else that's important to us is now. This is like a all hands on deck type situation, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm really excited about not even this, is it an idea, it's a concept. It's just, nothing that I'm doing is brand new. Nothing new was under the sun. I've not, I have a co-op. Not the first person to start a co-op.
Right.
I can literally not be the last person. I cannot be the last person to start a co-op because it's so integral into our life. But as it relates to how we engage with the government, my ideas about just these conversations, nothing is new about it. It's just like a matter of like, okay, hey, why hasn't anyone been talking about this? Can we get to work?
No, seriously.
Like right now. So I'm really excited to meet with people who are open to learning something new and also open to doing something that isn't normal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As it relates to this upcoming election, first off, let me say, I think that it is Joe Biden's right. I think Joe Biden has
let's get into this. We got 5.5 minutes left. Let's talk about this.
I think Joe Biden has an absolute right to run for re-election.
All right.
He's the incumbent president. Incumbent from the Democratic Party. I think he has every right to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put my hat on there.
Right.
Regardless of how old he is, That's just what I think. Mind you, that's not a right that's written to the Constitution. That's just my, vibes, right?
Yeah.
So with that, I believe that with the Democratic nomination for the president already being kind of solidified, I think that now allows us to now look to see who his competitor is going to be. And if we can engage his competitor, we can maybe be able to engage Joe Biden in a better way, right? Because I think the general consensus is that the way that Joe Biden interacted with Black people and just people of color all in general during the 2020 election was not genuine. The vote for me, you're not Black if you don't vote for me, that's not actually addressing.
He said that for real?
He said that with Charlemagne the God, and Charlemagne the God sat there with a straight face.
He did say that.
He said that with his chest.
I do remember that.
On the record. If you don't vote for me, you're not Black.
I'm going to have to look that up. Wow.
It's really disgusting, actually. Yeah. And the whole, of course, the only reason that was okay was because the whole concept coming from the Democratic Party was anybody but Trump. Okay, fine. Whatever. You guys got it.
Yeah, I do remember that. It was just kind of a mass hysteria. It's like, oh, get him out of here and whatever.
Now that we've all calmed down.
Emotions.
Kinda.
Yeah, kind of.
Because people are still shell-shocked. They're like, I don't want to talk about 2024.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Traumatized, yeah.
Now that we've kind of calmed down, I think now's the conversation. Okay, Donald Trump is not the incumbent president. Because when he was running, I personally felt that's his right to rerun. You know what I'm saying? He's the incumbent. But since he's not there's not a Republican incumbent, this now gives the general population an opportunity to pick Joe Biden's competition. What does that look like? That looks like people showing up for the Republican primary and picking his competitor.
So you're saying that we should vote red?
I'm only saying for the Republican primary. Okay. We show up and we pick Joe Biden's competitor.
Okay.
Who you vote for during the November general election is up to you. You can go blue, red, or third party. You can even vote for Harambe if you want to.
Right.
It really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
But I'm talking about like the shift that will happen as it relates to if a bunch of Black people who were just going to not necessarily waste their vote on a Joe Biden Democratic primary, because there's other people in the primaries.
Yeah.
But if they all shifted and said, well, we've been engaging with Trump, DeSantis, Nikki Haley. I mean, there's so many people in the Republican primary.
Yeah.
If we've been engaging with them the way that Ice Cube was trying to engage with Joe Biden and Donald Trump, if we engage with them and have these conversations, okay, you know what, boom. Joe Biden versus whoever. I think now we can all feel good about going to the polls in November like, well, we did engage with the so-and-so and we did engage with this person and this is what we're coming with. For me, as a political enthusiast, it's just, it would be interesting to see something like that, like a collective movement to do that. It would just be interesting to see what that looks like, and then also how the people feel, because like you say, like, you want us to vote Republican?
Right.
No one said vote Republican. All I said is
because I'm chilling right now, but other people won't be like, what?
They're gonna freak out. But that's the other thing. Yeah. People don't understand civics.
Exactly.
Just because you voted Democrat your entire life does not mean that you're a registered person with the Democratic Party in the state of Georgia. When it's time for primaries, they're going to ask you, which card do you want? Democrat. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to see a thing, you're going to do it. Or get the Republican one.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that you can't vote Democrat in November.
Right.
It's just a matter of actually engaging with the two people who say they want to run the country.
True. But exactly. They're literally running our country. So
our country.
It would be wise to at least,
engage the whole shebang versus just saying, whatever. Yeah. Because we don't know who's going to be the Republican nominee.
Blue good, red bad.
And I don't know. And I really can't trust my, all the other people that vote red in the state of Georgia to pick someone that is also going to have my best interest. I can't. I can trust that I am going to vote for my best interest, and then, we can have that conversation. But for me, that's something that I'm really excited to see. I, again, want to see that same type of concept in the 2026 election. Because as you know, John Ossoff is the incumbent U.S. Senator. Mm-hmm. And I think he has a right to run as the Democrat primary nominee. But there's going to be a primary in Georgia. And if we
keep going,
if we engage his competitor, you never know. This guy, I mean, we can really have a really cool conversation if we do this. But starting 2024, I want to see this. And, from there, we'll talk about 2026. But if we focus on the May date and November, I think people will feel less on the outskirts, that they're just wasting their vote, or they're just, nothing matters, my vote doesn't matter. If people see what they're able to actually do by shifting this narrative, do you know what Fox News is going to say when they say, we've had a record turnout of black people voting in the Republican primary? And even though we thought that Trump was going to take Georgia by a landslide, these folks done said they want to engage with somebody else. What are they going to say? Because this is our God-given right as American citizens to vote and to participate in our multiple elections, not just one, multiple elections. Yeah. So I'm so excited about that. And, really just God bless this country, God bless this state, and good luck to us all.
There you have it.
There you have it.